Debt blows, right? We can all agree with that. Debt sucks. No one wants to live paycheck to paycheck to paycheck and just have to rely on your next check and live life like that. Um, that being said, Broke Investor finally back to create another video. This one not so much about investing, but more so about debt and my experience with paying off of my debt, utilizing a system that was invented by Dave Ramsey, whom I discovered, back, a year or two ago, and still listen to, have listened to every day since. So I'm going to share his strategy as far as paying off debt and everything else associated with the baby steps that he talks about. And then I'm going to share how I conquered it and, what I'm doing today and what I plan to do in the future as far as that goes. So let's get started. So as I mentioned, we got Dave Ramsey up there. Yeah, beautiful picture, right? So anyway, he has these what he calls the baby steps. So he basically tells people, what they need to really do to get out of debt and live financially free. And it's not rocket science. It's honestly, it's very, very simple for people to understand, but it's not so easy to accomplish. When you're buried in debt, you really don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You just see debt and more debt and more debt, and you're just accepting that and living that. So until you're, like he always says, so pissed off that you said, I've had enough, like F this, I'm freaking done. That's when you can actually go through these steps and, pull through. So anyway, let's go through them. I'll brief them for the most part. Baby step 1, he calls. First things first, you save up $1,000, and that's what's considered your temporary emergency fund. So basically, that's the money that you need in case something happens that you have to address. Because also, when you start, the idea is you're no longer going to borrow money at all. So that means no more credit cards, right? So if you don't have credit cards and you can't borrow money, where are you going to get money for emergencies? So that is the point of baby step 1 being the $1,000 emergency fund. So once you save up $1,000, then the fund begins. That's baby step 2. It's called the debt snowball. So basically, you pay off your debts, smallest to largest. So you focus on the lowest debt first, and you pay the minimum payment on anything above that. And the reason is, the sooner you pay off any debt at all, that's when you actually get a sense of relief and accomplishment. It's about the small celebrations. So if you have 5 debts, and first one's $1,000, second one's $2,000, you're going to focus on the $1,000 one, and then the others just pay minimum. And then once you pay off that first debt, you're going to be like, hell yeah. And then you're going to focus on the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And it's very smart. People tend to gear towards the highest interest, and they focus on that, which typically is honestly their higher bill, and they tend to get nowhere. And then they end up giving up, and they end up charging more and more and more. So the idea behind the debt snowball is honestly, I think it's pretty simple, but no one really mentioned it aside from him that I know of, and it's very smart, and it works for the everyday people because they need the small wins. They need a sense of relief. They need to knock out one of those minimum payments. I'll get to my debt snowball in the middle, but let me finish going through the baby steps. Number 3 is, once you're paid off your debt, aside from your mortgage, you'll save up an emergency fund. And that emergency fund is obviously more than the $1,000. It's going to be 3 to 6 months of your expenses. So, and the point behind that is if you lose your job, or something big happens, you want, a fair amount of money in your account that you feel comfortable and you can pay cash. So that's baby step 3. Baby step 4 is you can go back to saving, because again, in the beginning you're cutting off everything unless it's mandatory. And part of what you're cutting off in the first couple baby steps, is you're not investing in your retirement. So on baby step 4, you can start investing in your retirement again, and he advises 15%, which I do agree with. Obviously, it's going to be tough to knock down your 401k to nothing while you're paying off debt. And I didn't do that, honestly. I had mine at 15% the entire time. So, but the idea behind making it zero while you're paying off your debt is you'll have a more sense of urgency, because the longer you wait to save for retirement, the more, the less you'll have in there. So that'll give you another sense of urgency on paying off your debt. Versus if you still contributed, you feel, there's no rush. Nothing's being affected. So anyway, once you have your emergency fund, baby step 4, again, 15% of goes to retirement or investments. Number 5, if you have children, that's when you can open the college fund. I think 4 and 5, for the most part, they say to do it together. But for me, again, I've been saving for the college fund all through the first couple baby steps. So I didn't want to stop putting into my son's college fund just so I could pay off my stupid debt. I wanted to save, I can contribute from my paycheck directly to his college fund, and I didn't want to stop that, because why make him suffer because of my past stupid mistakes? So yeah, obviously, I'm doing these backwards, but long story short, 4 and 5, kind of what I started with, and then I went from 1 down. So anyway, that's number 5. Open a 529 or whatever. There's a couple other names for college fund. If you don't have kids, you move on from that step. Number 6, you can start paying off your home. Because obviously, you have your emergency fund, you're contributing all you can to retirement, and you're paying into your children's 529. So what left except pay the remaining debt? So that's when you start attacking your home. You pay off that stupid mortgage. Not just the mortgage minimum payment. You pay more towards it each month, or whatever you can. And then eventually, your mortgage will get paid off. And my mortgage is not paid off, so obviously, I don't know what that feels like, but I can only imagine. It's probably wonderful. Imagine just having a paycheck and doing whatever the hell you want with it, besides the basic bills. So that's number 6. Number 7 is obviously when you're completely debt-free, you can buy whatever the hell you want. You can donate money to whom you want. You can help out friends, family, do whatever. And it's probably an amazing feeling. I'll let you know when I get there. But right now I'm on number 3. Although 4 and 5 already existed, so I have 3, 6, and 7 to go. So let me explain how my number 2 went, the debt snowball. So long story short, I'm an old man right now, mid-30s, so I've been in debt most of my adult life because of stupid mistakes. Very stupid. Turn 18 years old, get a credit card, take out a car loan, buy rims for the car, charge vacations on the card, charge vacations for other people on the card, take cash, spend the cash, stupid things. I can't even tell you, the list is endless. So I've pretty much had credit card debt, school loan debt, car debt, 401k loan debt my entire adult life. And then about 2 years ago, I think I've hit the point where I said, okay, seriously, enough with this crap. And now, and then I found Dave Ramsey. Well, I got into investing, and then I found Dave Ramsey, and then it all clicked. It all started clicking. So once I found Dave Ramsey, I was already starting to pay off my debt the way I thought should happen, and I was getting somewhere, but not, too fast. So these numbers were actually a lot worse before I started, but these numbers are being posted as of when I started the debt snowball. So I started in November 2018. Keep in mind it's January 2020 today. So I had 2, 4, 6 loans, or 6 debts, we'll say. I had 2 401k loans. I had 2 normal credit cards. I had a store credit card. And I had a school loan, and this was a combination of myself and my wife's credit or debt. So I listed them smallest to largest, and I began paying them. So in the typical world, you're not focused on the strategy. So when I look at all of these, just to give you an idea, the minimum monthly payment that I was paying is $587. So automatically, $587 every single month has to go to these items, to these debts. So that amount is stopping me, from doing better things with my money in life, investing more money, going on vacations with my family. So the whole, you want to get rid of this. You want to get rid of debts that you have control over. So obviously my 401k loan, which again, if anyone knows anything about 401k loans, when you take them out, they're just deducted from your paycheck. So you kind of pretend that you got a pay deduction and you ignore it. So I never even considered that a debt until obviously I was listening into the programs and people's debts, etc. So I only had $374 on one of my 401k loans. So that was obviously the first debt I paid off. And that was in the month of November. And that same month, we had, a low, stupid credit card. We've just been paying minimum or whatever we can. And so I took, the initiative, and within that first month, I paid off the two smallest debts because I was comfortable paying the minimum on everything else without feeling sick to my stomach. It's hard to pay the minimum on anything unless there's an actual strategy. And with this, there's a strategy. So the third one, I had a store credit card because I took out a loan to get a backsplash for my kitchen. Awesome, right? No, pretty freaking dumb. But anyway, I only had $700 left on that, so paid that off, moved on. School loan, okay, we're getting in the thousands now, so obviously this took some time, little by little, took a couple months, and, we paid that off in February of last year. So on and so forth. Whatever, we get to another 401k loan, yeah, whatever. Actually, one thing I heard is some 401k loans require that you can only pay off the full amount instead of installments. But my 401k loan was with Vanguard, and it let me put whatever money I could. So say I had an extra $500 to put towards this $2,900 loan, it would let me. Although, it kind of takes a little longer for the 401k loans to register and also register with your company. So the communication is kind of lagged. So when you do pay it off, usually they deduct an additional payment, which they have to pay you back, or they just throw it into your 401k. But it's kind of annoying, honestly. But anyway, who's crying here? And my last credit card. Over $7,000, which is, to me, honestly, was nothing at that point. I've been in almost, I've had $18,000 credit cards prior to this, before I started, trying to pay off anything. But long story short, this took a while, and finally, January this month, I paid off that stupid credit card, and now I could say I'm debt-free, like the show. I'm debt-free! Anyway, I still have the mortgage, so I don't think that scream is really worthy of screaming a debt-free. But it feels pretty damn good to have, only the usual bills, such as, utilities, mortgage, daycare, water bill, whatever. Phone bill, frickin' cable bill, the usual crap. So it took me about 15 months to pay off $14,000, and it's done. Obviously, had I done the correct way, had I deducted my 401k to 0% contributions, had I stopped the college fund contributions, this would have been paid off a lot earlier. But I felt comfortable in doing it a different way, but it's not necessarily, everyone doesn't have to do it the way he says it. The idea is just doing it. So if you have your own method, which again, this is why I wanted to share my method. You don't have to get, you don't have to push yourself to the limit, which may make you quit. You can do it your own way. But the debt snowball, to me, is very smart. So, because like I said, as soon as you pay off that first debt, you're like, oh shit, I'm almost there. I'm almost done. But even though you got more to go, but the fact that you paid something off, and you're not going to get something in the mail every single month, it sucks getting 6-7 bills in the mail of something that you know you can't pay off. You can just pay minimum. So the feeling of eliminating one of them, believe me, it's awesome. Or emails, now everything's electronic. But yeah, so it took me about 15 months to get rid of freaking baby step 2. Baby step 2 is a pain in the ass. It's honestly the hardest part of this. So once you get that done, then you could roll on to baby step 3, which is the real emergency fund. So I figured I'd show you my monthly expenses. It's about $3,113. So my strategy now is to save up 6 months emergency, which obviously 6 times that is $18,678. So once I save that up, put in the savings or whatever high interest stupid thing, something liquid, then I'm also going to save up 2 additional car funds. Me and my wife, we both drive older cars, over 10 years old. They're both 2008s actually, and both high mileage. We both commute a fair amount, so something is bound to happen. We've been getting pretty lucky, right? So if something happens, I want to be ready to pay cash for a car. I can't even imagine that feeling, but when that day comes, hopefully I'm ready. If my car breaks today, that's another story. I might have to sell some stocks. I don't want to, but I might have to do that. But yeah. So long story short, my next goal is really to save $48,000, which would be all considered emergency fund. That would be all liquid, not locked up in stocks, not locked up in anything. Maybe, again, the high interest savings account. So and once I do that, then I could really, start focusing on other things, like paying off the mortgage, investing more. Also during this process, obviously, those of you who watch my channel, I invest in dividend paying stocks, so I've also been doing that. So this could have been done a lot earlier, had I have more aggression towards it. But I was just learning about investing, so I couldn't stop my dividend investing strategy and goals, so I did it all at once. So anyway, this video was basically to share how I finally paid off my stupid debt, excluding the mortgage, and how good it does feel. So if you have any debt, credit cards, school loans, whatever, car loans, you don't need a car loan. You always think, oh, I deserve this car, and if I can afford a car loan, I'm gonna get it. That's not the right way of thinking. If you can afford to pay for the car outright, fine. But if you can afford the monthly car payment, no, don't borrow money. It really doesn't make sense. And again, the credit score, that's a score that you need to borrow more money. So if you don't borrow money, that's really irrelevant, that whole credit score thing. So obviously you're going to need it to get a mortgage unless you do the whole manual underwriting thing, but I would say just keep a good credit score if you're going to get a mortgage, because there's not a lot of places that do manual underwriting. But aside from that, if you can build up enough wealth that everything is being paid in cash, then who gives a damn? Cut up your credit cards. Don't ever take another loan out. Don't get any temptations. Just pay cash, the old school way. That's my advice, because again, I'm an old man now. I've been living in debt my whole life. I know what it's like, and it freaking sucks. So now I'm debt free, again, excluding mortgage, but now I can invest more. Now I can, maybe take a vacation here or two. So anyway, again, that's my debt free journey. Thanks to Dave Ramsey, because the guy, he's very entertaining. If you haven't heard of him or haven't been listening to him, I would highly advise it, because the people, they're very motivational. These people that are calling in, they have debts that you can't even imagine, and they're paying it off no problem. They're cutting off everything. They're not going out to eat. They're eating, rice and beans like he says. They're not going to the movies. They're not doing this. They're not doing that, just to pay off the debt in a strict amount of time. I did not do that. I still went out to dinner. I still bought, stocks. I still bought wine, whatever. But again, it worked out for me. Luckily, nothing crazy came up, and it worked out. But there's different ways of doing it. So anyway, if you like this video, please obviously click like. If if you've paid off your debt or you're debt free, or if you have any comment in regards to this video, please leave a comment below. Or if you like my channel so much, like some of you mentioned on Instagram, which I do appreciate greatly, please share this video or my channel, because I'm gonna get with it this year. I'm gonna start making a few more videos, a month, at least 2 to 3 videos a month, about what people want to see. I'll try to be more consistent. Only board videos, no more of the stupid car commute videos. But like I said, it would be greatly appreciated if you do like this content to share it wherever you can with your friends and family, or people that are interested in this type of stuff. So again, I'm the Broke Investor. I have a YouTube channel, I have an Instagram, I have a Twitter. You can find me anywhere, right? So please reach out. Again, so I'm building up this YouTube. Today's video just about debt free. Now from here on out, it's mostly about investing and how my dividend strategy and how I will eventually retire on dividends. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Later.